Hey everybody, so glasses. Yes, I wear glasses, not religiously, even though they are prescribed to me, I'm not required to use them to drive. My vision is well enough to drive without them. Um, it just makes everything crisper and clearer, so edges aren't fuzzy. But other than that, it doesn't do any good. Um, The thing I don't like about glasses is they constantly get fingerprints or raindrops or something on them. So I really try and refrain from wearing them, but I haven't been sleeping. Last night I took the lithium, the geodon, the Ambien, and was still wired. Still felt like I needed to do stuff. Like there were things that needed to get done and I had to do them. And I was trying to think, what are these things that I feel like I need to get done? Because I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting here festering about what needs to be done instead of going and actually dealing with it or realizing it can wait until later. And today, by the grace of God, I picked up my Klonopin and in the parking lot of the post office, I took it. And granted, it says as needed for sleep, for anxiety. But what happens if you're anxious during the day? Does that just not count as anxiety? Or is it not as important? I think being able to sit behind a driver's wheel and say, I can do this because I am relaxed enough and calm enough to navigate the roads, that's a big deal. Like, people automatically assume that a pill makes it all better. I get a pill and I hope that it makes me feel better, but I don't live based off that hope. Like Geodon and I have had a really long run, and for it to stop working means that it's just time to move on to a different medicine. And the lithium doesn't seem to be doing squat, so I might need to be removed from that as well. And the Klonopin, I've been on it before, and it takes the edge off, for sure. I wish they had time release forms of it through the VA. I think it would be more beneficial because then you get this, like, free, willy-nilly feeling instead of being on guard and shrunken up in your little hole. Because this right here, what you see me in, is a comfortable position for a person who is anxious because they don't want to see their hands shuddering, they don't want to feel their body shuddering, they don't want to constantly feel like they are just this walking ball of vibrations. And I just find that if I get the right amount of something, which is therapy, medications, and whatever spiritual enlightenment you need, whether you're an atheist or agnostic, there's something that drives your belief system. So hang on to that and really seek out truth in that, because I'm a firm believer that God created people to worship all different types of faith because it was what best suited to their mindset and their lifestyle. Personally, I grew up, one parent was a Muslim, not so good at being a Muslim, but he was a Muslim, and a very Americanized atheist woman. And I was the monkey in the middle. I experimented with religions. I did all kinds of research on religions. And, when I chose to be Christian, it was more of like, hey, I want to be in the same band group as the rest of my friends because they all seem to be in it. And it looks like a good program, so might as well be. But when I found out that the pastor and the pastor's wife and the deacon's wives not good, were speaking ill of a lot of people who were in the youth group, just because they were different and had different views and weren't so conservative. They were more liberal minded. I kind of said, the hell with Christianity. Like, I don't believe that God, the Holy Spirit, and Jesus are all one. Three does not make one, no matter how many times you try to argue it. Three, the functional number of three entities, does not create one entity. It's just how I am, and it's my belief, and I was that way even before I became a Muslim. So, there's that spiel. I am trying really, really hard to finish all the stuff that is required for school. And it feels like it's taking an eternity, but I need the proper tools. And so I have to go to the store, buy the stuff I need, come back, try it out, see how it works. And if it works, great. If it doesn't work, gotta find something new to replace it. Like I'm making a no mask, which is a Japanese theatrical mask. And the way that it is done is the expressions of the brows are up, eyes are turned downward, the mouth is half open in a sort of smirk, and you can take that as anger or happiness or sadness, depending on how you interpret the words. So I thought that would be a good project for my intro to theater class that I have to take in order to graduate. I've got the baseline of it down. I need to fill in some spots, like my husband said, and just bold it up a little bit. It's just gonna be a minute before I really get to it. I'm planning on doing that on the weekend, when I have the most time free, and I can get away from the house if I need to go meet up with my friend Brittany, who does some really amazing artwork, and she and I are going to work on my graphic novel for my Modern American Lit class. That, in and of itself, is a task, because you want to frame out each page perfectly and leave little to the imagination as possible when it comes to different scenarios. Like, there's a scenario where the girl is in the coffee shop as a barista serving the guy who's been bullying her at school, and just serving him his comeuppance so that he knows what it's like to be her for a day. And they end up becoming friends, and I really like the story. The story's really cute and lighthearted and happy. Like, school bullying is a really hot topic, but I think if we create strong individuals, we can eradicate things such as school bullying. And that's kind of my hope for it. I would love, 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 love a nice big tall cup of coffee right now, but I am too lazy get up off this chair and do it. I think that if I had the cup of coffee, it would give me some mystic, magical energy that will drive me through the day and stuff, but it's not looking like it. My in-laws, I love them to death. Sometimes they do some of the weirdest, absurd things that they feel are helpful. Like, my mother-in-law got a quilted slipcover for Lonzo's bed when I explicitly said I wanted a vinyl slipcover for Lonzo's bed, because you can wipe the vinyl off after you've removed the sheet. This other one, it gets absorbed into the sheet, and you have to take the sheet off the mattress, throw in the wash, and then stick it back on the mattress. It's a big hassle. Mattresses aren't light. So instead, I bit my tongue and said thank you, and promptly put it up. Spoke to my husband about it, and said, I don't know what she was thinking, but that's what we got. And he's like, and I said, honey, I was up, and I stopped myself and said thank you, because it just wasn't worth the banter back and forth. I love my husband to death. I love his family. They're so welcoming in so many aspects. But my husband oftentimes makes me feel like being reliant on them for any given amount of time in my life is a luxury, and it is, and hence why when I need them to be present in Lonzo's life so that I can stand back and breathe and recuperate, they're more than welcome to do that. But this feels really comfortable right now. But I just wish that we had more money to pay off debt so that Dustin would be happy. I wish that I could take a break from school for a substantial period of time without working and just be a parent. That would be nice. My husband would have a whole bunch to say about how I clean. I just don't clean as well or as thoroughly as he does. You know, it's to each his own. Like, I am really good at organizing stuff. He is really good at crunching numbers and getting every spot. I'm just not involved in that. So that's how we work. My husband is a pagan Buddhist. At least that's what he calls himself the last time I talked to him about religion. But he seems to lean more towards the Buddhist side, so I don't know. I think the practices and teachings of Buddhism are very founded and deep-rooted and very in tune with the way people should pray. Like, getting down on your knees at church, in a Catholic church, I don't think it's humbling, because you have this little bolster that keeps your knees from touching the ground. And then you have the back of the pew, which keeps your arms and hands from touching the ground. And you never fully submit. You never fully submit your prayer to God. And I'm sorry this is getting a little preachy, but being a person who has been struggling with prayer for various reasons, health-wise, I am going to strive more and more to be present in prayer, to participate in prayer, and, give my thanks and stuff. I just hope that it all goes well for everybody involved. I know that some people find me praying in the middle of the day at their house a little awkward. Especially Dustin's family. Like, my friends, they don't seem to mind. But, they know that that's my thing. And when I pray at the masjid, it's no big deal. Everybody does it. So, I'm going to make a conscious effort from here on out to be an active practitioner of my faith, and to be an active practitioner of my life, and to be an active practitioner of those I choose to care for. I think that's my key statements. Practice life, practice religion, practice on myself. And it could be the same way with atheism. I don't want to limit somebody just because they don't believe in God. They believe in something. They must believe in the will of humanity. Like, humanity is a driving force of modern society, and that we keep pushing these legislations to be passed so that things can be done. So I have no problem with sitting back and watching the humanist world unfold. Like, atheists, Buddhists, Muslims, Christians, Jews, we all believe that killing is wrong. We all believe that adultery is wrong. That going and having sex with another woman on your spouse is wrong. That those things are not highly looked upon. So we seek forgiveness for those things. We seek wisdom from those things. We choose to be enlightened by those things, rather than to sit idly by and just say nothing. Like, before I was a Muslim, or before I reverted to Islam, I had lost all faith in God. I had just been in the hospital, at the most God-forsaken place, hospital. And I felt like I didn't belong there. I just needed to be stabilized and, make sure that my medications weren't being thrown up and all this stuff. And they weren't listening to anything I had to say. I know my body and how it works better than anyone. So if you are a person who practices psychiatry and prescribes various cases different medications, please understand, if the person says, no, I've tried that and it didn't work, that no, it didn't work. So try a different avenue. Geodon was my different avenue because they had me on lethal doses of Seroquel without sleeping. And they had me on antidepressants out the wazoo, sleep aids out the wazoo. They had me on meds for nightmares and hypertension, which is anxiety related. And I was taking 13 pills every morning, a handful of pills. That's like what you give somebody who's dying of cancer or, is diagnosed with AIDS, HIV. You don't think that a person with bipolar disorder needs to take that much. And let me tell you, there are side effects for all medications, and a lot of them are the same, but some of them are different. So always read on your meds. Read up on them, find out what they do, what they don't do, what they counteract with. Be informed, because the more information you have, the better you are at getting your stuff taken care of. I just I don't know what else to say about that. I do like this scarf with my tan tunic, and I have some beads. But I'm just tired of the stigma of, like, you should be able to be happy. Why can't you be happy with this or that or the other? If I could be happy with just this, that, or the other, I would be. You think I haven't tried? If I could just be happy playing with my kid, I would just play with my kid for the rest of my life. But that's not the case. There is something bigger at work. And I have to have something else to diffuse whatever is going on with me. I go through mania. I go through depression. I go from extreme highs to extreme lows within the blink of an eye. It's insane. And the fact that I have anxiety on top of that I have to have a routine in order to feel stable is kind of absurd for some people, but I think that everybody who suffers from mental illness has some sort of routine that keeps them on track, because if they don't, they fall apart. That consistency is what makes us comfortable and makes life familiar and makes us know that it's just another day going through the motions, that this too shall pass. And I think that's like the biggest keynote thing right now. I thought I'd make this quick video because my son is at school, and I've been feeling really anxious and really amped up. Although my vision goes blurry because I haven't slept. But I wanted to post and see what you all think. I may or may not have some of Jacqueline Glenn's audience members, viewers, come and watch this channel, and I want them to have a perspective on it. Like, this is not a channel about religion. It's about a channel that exposes mental illness, and the person happens to be Muslim, because Muslims who are diagnosed in psychiatric medicine are so low compared to other faiths, and I think it's because they feel that the best way they can gain any sort of absolution or answers as to why they're feeling the way they're feeling is if they continue to pray. And when I was very vigilant and strict in my prayers, my whole world fell apart. I got bronchitis. I was sick for months. I tried to figure out if I could still do the obligatory prayers. I ended up losing capacity of my lungs. I still wish to do prayers, but it's gonna be on my terms. I'm going to take it in baby steps because I've been away from it for so long. It hasn't changed how I feel in my heart. I can still pray without the obligatory prayers, but those prayers mean the world to me, because every time I'm prostrate on the ground, praising God, praising Allah, I'm so happy and at peace, and I am most tranquil. It is the most peaceful and serene position to be in, and I can't possibly fathom what it would be like without that position afforded to me, that position to prostrate on the ground, whether it's for God or Buddha or whoever. There are many religions that prostrate on the ground. Orthodox Christians, Muslims, Buddhists. You know, we could do a serious consensus, but those are three major religions that do it right now. I'm sure if we looked into it, we could find more. But this channel, not about religion. It's about bipolar disorder and other disorders associated with my life and with the lives of my viewers. So if you have something that you want to vocalize as one of my viewers, I promise I won't say your name or give any details that you feel would give you away. But talk to me about whatever your problems are, and we will seriously look into what the best plan of action is for you. Because I know that if I don't have a plan of action, I don't follow through. You need a plan in what you want to do in order to get where you want to be. Anyway, soapbox is over. Jacqueline Glenn is funny, but she has yet to post my YouTube video on her little site. Maybe she thinks I'm just this crazy Muslim woman. I am a crazy Muslim woman, but that's okay. I'm just I like her personality and I can respect her viewpoints so much more than maybe she can respect mine. I don't know. I'm only guessing. And, I've heard her conversations on Sharia law and, women being beaten and made to wear macabre and all this stuff. And I think it's ridiculous too. I think that in the Quran it only expresses that your face, hands, and feet be exposed. So wearing the macabre is definitely a choice made by a woman or a woman's husband. Uh, or it's enforced by the government, which Sharia law is based off of a council of men reading the text of the Quran and the Hadiths and formulating an opinion as to how the dress code should be. And I think it's crap. I think that if you're going to have a committee of scholars of religion, that you should include a woman who is knowledgeable in the same field that we're discussing, which would be the Quran. That there should be a scholar who is a woman who can say, look, this is where it says hands, feet, face. Anything more than that is excess and it's of the woman's choosing. It's not mandatory. But, this is also the same nation who hires women to be in high appointed offices. They can be in high appointed offices, but they have to wear macabre. It's weird. So you pick and choose your battles. Do you want to be able to work in the workforce and get paid the same right as a man, or do you want to get rid of the macabre? Most women, it doesn't faze them, but being able to work in a position they love does faze them. So, food for thought there. I hope to make a video response to Jacqueline Glenn's rendition of Islam. Uh, we don't believe in any sort of engraven images, so pictures of Moran, I'm not really gonna fault you on it. We don't know what he looks like, and your rendition was kind of funny. And I'm glad that you chose to do that to expel any sort of animosity you had about, drawing pictures of God and the prophets. We can't draw them because they're spiritual men who lived long before their time and were very poor and were not sculpted or painted throughout the history of time. So we can only assume what they look like. Like Jesus could have been black. We don't know. It's a mystery. We can only assume that he had olive skin and fair hair and blue eyes. But nobody states in the Bible necessarily that that's who he is. Nobody states in the Quran that that's who he is. But every image that is made is of him with sandy golden hair, blue eyes, and just a yeah. And the Virgin Mary too. Virgin Mary wasn't a stick. Virgin Mary had figure. She had a baby. Her body changed. She wouldn't have been looking like a 20-something at the sacrifice of her son. She would have been aged and would have been very distraught and not beautiful. And I think that women of that time period were not always beautiful, and the men too were not always beautiful. Even the prophets were not beautiful. But we have to express the fact that we don't know, and we have to accept the fact that we don't know. But technology's out there for us to find that out. So maybe someday we will come together and figure out what these figures of Judeo religions look like. It's food for thought. And I hope to one day be able to sit down and debate the facts with Jacqueline Glenn. I'm still fairly new in my Quranic text, but you know, when it talks about the headscarf, it talks about the headscarf. In the Torah, it talks about the headscarf. In the New Testament, it talks about the headscarf. In the Quran, all three books talking about the same thing. So why is it wrong? Why is it an oppression of women? It's supposed to be a rite of passage when you hit puberty to choose to wear it. In places where there is Sharia law, I'm sure there is no rite of passage to wear it. But laws can be changed, and it's only time will tell if we will reach it. So, I'm going to end it here. And if you have any questions, please leave it in the comment box. Give me some topics to talk about. I will be filming Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and possibly Saturday. It just depends on how stuff goes for school. Talk to you later.